Allegedly, because we got to say allegedly. So, it said Caitlin Clark reacts to Cathy comments via Instagram. So Bleacher Report shared this. Bleacher Report stated Caitlin should be grateful she makes $16 million off the court. Without the platform the WNBA give her, she wouldn't make anything. Napheesa Collier on what Commissioner Cathy stated. Well, basically, Napheesa Collier stated that that's what Cathy told her. Now, Caitlin commented under this with hashtag noticing. So
recent developments suggest Cathy Engelbert's position as WNBA commissioner faces serious jeopardy. Napheesa Collier recently made significant public statements criticizing league administration, though no penalties have been announced for her remarks. The situation appears increasingly problematic for Engelbert's future with the organization. The core controversy centers on Engelbert's handling of officiating problems and her response to player treatment issues. These concerns have existed throughout the season, with critics pointing to systematic failures in addressing on-court violence and inadequate protective measures for athletes. The commissioner has been compared to notorious figures due to her alleged tolerance for chaos and conflict within the competition.
Caitlin commented under this with hashtag noticing. So this is letting me know that Caitlin Clark is watching this. Now, for those of people saying that we don't know if Caitlin really did that. So here's what I'm about to do. I'm about to go to Instagram right now, and I'm about to log in because this is from X. And we're going to go on Bleacher Report because Caitlin Clark just did that. We're going to go on Bleacher Report. Here.
Sports Business Journal published a bombshell report indicating Engelbert will probably depart following collective bargaining agreement discussions. Multiple anonymous sources revealed that her exit stems from relationship difficulties rather than business performance. The article states plainly that connections matter tremendously in this role, and Engelbert lacks the interpersonal skills necessary for success. According to insider accounts, Engelbert struggles with relationship cultivation, which presents fundamental challenges when working with franchises and athletes. One source described her as exceptionally intelligent regarding business strategy, and she deserves recognition for financial achievements. However, commissioners must possess charisma and personal connection abilities that touch everyone within the organization.
We're going to go on Bleacher Report. Here, and let's see here. This is it right here. And let's see here. Everybody, Shady McCoy. And everybody's talking about this, bruh. Everybody is talking about this here. All the celebs, everybody. Somebody said, LOL, CC different. That commissioner needs gummies. Haha. Fee says, airing out, unrivaled.
Engelbert apparently doesn't demonstrate these qualities. The assessment suggests she operates more like a traditional corporate executive than a sports league leader. Standard business chiefs often remain disconnected from lower-level employees, focusing only on immediate colleagues. Sports commissioners require different approaches, needing genuine familiarity with every player and consistent relationship maintenance. Reports indicate Engelbert completely lacks these relationship-building capabilities. Another source predicted she'll complete the labor discussions, then possibly celebrate achievements before returning to traditional business environments.
Now, unrivaled about to be the new standard. I don't know, man. I said something to a colleague of mine earlier about maybe this could be a play for unrivaled, but I don't know definitively. And I'm looking. When did they post this, guys? I'm not finna read all these damn comments. Let me see here. Yeah, man. So this thing here is definitely heating up.
WNBA representatives issued statements calling these reports completely inaccurate. Engelbert herself remained unavailable for responses, which raises additional questions about transparency and communication. Collier's public criticism may have accelerated existing problems. She represents significant influence within basketball circles, particularly through University of Connecticut connections. This network holds substantial power throughout women's basketball, and losing their backing could prove fatal for any commissioner's tenure. Collier maintains strong ties to this influential group, making her opinions particularly damaging.
It's definitely heating up, man. Definitely is. And yeah. Caitlin Clark is definitely paying attention, dog. So at the end of the day, it is what it is, man. 4,000 people like Caitlin Clark saying that. A lot of people keep talking about, I believe, this is my theory. I believe she's jealous of Caitlin.
Sources clarify that Engelbert's departure isn't happening immediately, and she might choose resignation over termination. Any potential move appears unconnected to current collective bargaining tensions with the players' union. Nevertheless, chronic mistrust has existed between Engelbert and her constituents since a controversial September 2024 television appearance on CNBC. During that interview, she failed to condemn hateful social media attacks directed at players, instead emphasizing rivalry popularity. She eventually apologized to the Players Association, but damage persisted.
She's jealous of Caitlin. She being Cathy. Cathy gotta be jealous of Caitlin. I mean, everybody's talking about this. And I told y'all, look, Asia Wilson just said something about it. Asia Wilson was told Kate Barnes that she hadn't had a chance to listen to Napheesa comments yet, but then put just knowing fee and what she believes in, what she stands for. I'm pretty sure she's going to stand 10 toes down on that. So
additional sources reiterate that Engelbert simply isn't oriented toward people-focused leadership. This characteristic existed before recent labor negotiations, representing an ongoing weakness rather than a new development. Engelbert previously advocated for increased rivalries and dramatic storylines, particularly during the heightened attention surrounding Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. Many observers believe this philosophy contributed to excessive physical treatment certain players endured, particularly Clark. Speculation suggests Engelbert's public statements essentially encouraged aggressive behavior towards specific athletes.
So, Asia Wilson, now this is currently Vegas. This is the crowd in Vegas. Now you know. Now you know that this is in Vegas. Come on now. Now, some I do want to say. Now, let me exit out of this. Some I want to say. I talked about this with my team, and I've talked about this with my wife. If the Indiana Fever wins tonight's game,
the violence extended beyond just Clark to other Indiana Fever players. Aliyah Boston experienced multiple physical incidents from various opponents throughout the season. The league increasingly resembles mixed martial arts competition rather than traditional basketball, with insufficient protective measures for athletes' safety and well-being. During Engelbert's leadership, the WNBA secured an 11-year broadcasting agreement valued at $2.2 billion. This deal remains the primary achievement cited by her supporters.
Wins tonight's game, I will attend a few of the WNBA games. Yes, I will lift my boycott, and I will travel possibly to Phoenix and Indy to a game. Yes, you heard me correctly. Phoenix and Indy to a game. Yes, I will. So I just wanted to tell you guys that if they pull it off tonight, you can count on your boy JTL to be in the building live from wherever.
Additionally, a USA Network contract was announced for upcoming seasons, covering regular games and playoff contests. Financial terms weren't disclosed for the secondary agreement, though it represents expanded media presence starting in 2026. However, Collier's criticism overshadowed this positive announcement, highlighting the timing problems surrounding Engelbert's tenure. The promotional materials for the USA Network deal prominently feature Clark, acknowledging her role in generating unprecedented attention and commercial opportunities. This massive publicity surge created ideal conditions for negotiations, yet questions persist about management decisions.
From this, I mean, bruh, she told it all. I'm done talking. Roll the footage.
I have prepared a statement that I would like to make before taking any questions. All right. So first of all, I'd like to congratulate the Mercury for advancing to the finals. And I want to be clear, this conversation is not about winning or losing. It's about something much bigger. The real threat to our league isn't money, it isn't ratings, or even missed calls, or even physical play. It's the lack of accountability from the league office. Since I've been in the league,
The fundamental problem involves financial accountability. Despite receiving the massive $2.2 billion media package, viewership numbers subsequently declined due to controversial player treatment and injury situations. Leadership failed to address physical aggression adequately, remaining silent when intervention was necessary. This mismanagement now threatens employment security. Recent playoff matchups between Indiana and Las Vegas demonstrated ongoing concerns about competitive integrity and officiating standards.
It's the lack of accountability from the league office. Since I've been in the league, you've heard the constant concerns about officiating, and it has now reached levels of inconsistency that plague our sport and undermine the integrity in which it operates. Whether the league cares about the health of the players is one thing, but to also not care about the product we put on the floor is truly self-sabotage. Year after year, the only thing that remains consistent is the lack of accountability from our leaders. Sorry, I had to walk here in my boot. I'm kind of out of breath. The league has a buzzword that they've rolled out as
These games generated additional controversy that remains unresolved. The situation ultimately revolves around squandered opportunities. The league received historic financial commitments based on extraordinary growth potential, particularly driven by Clark's popularity. Instead of capitalizing on this momentum through proper player protection and fair officiating, management allowed problematic situations to fester. Ratings declined rather than increased, representing catastrophic failure given the investment and expectations.
a buzzword that they've rolled out as talking points for the CBA as to why they can't pay the players what we're worth. That word is sustainability. But what's truly unsustainable is keeping a good product on the floor while allowing officials to lose control of games. Fans see it every night. Coaches, both winning and losing, point it out every night in pregame and postgame media. Yet leadership just issues fines and looks the other way. They ignore the issues that everyone inside the game is begging to be fixed. That is negligence. At Unrivaled this past February,
Historical context suggests these numbers may rank among the worst viewing figures the league has experienced. The disconnect between massive media investments and actual audience delivery creates an untenable situation for leadership. When financial partners commit billions based on growth projections, then see those projections fail due to preventable management decisions, consequences become inevitable. The combination of relationship deficiencies, player alienation, controversial policy choices, declining viewership, and influential criticism from respected athletes creates an overwhelming case for leadership changes. Whether through forced resignation or direct termination, Engelbert's departure appears increasingly certain as the league confronts these accumulated challenges and seeks direction that better serves athletes, franchises, and commercial partners.
that is negligence. At Unrivaled this past February, I sat across from Cathy and asked how she planned to address the officiating issues in our league. Her response was, well, only the losers complain about the refs. I also asked how she planned to fix the fact that players like Caitlin, Angel, and Paige, who are clearly driving massive revenue for the league, are making so little for their first 4 years. Her response was, Caitlin should be grateful she makes $16 million off the court, because without the platform that the WNBA gives her, she wouldn't make anything. And in that same conversation, she told me,
Minnesota Lynx star Napheesa Collier delivered explosive revelations during her exit interview, exposing alleged comments from WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert regarding Caitlin Clark and broader organizational issues. The comprehensive statement touched on collective bargaining negotiations, officiating standards, and what Collier characterized as problematic leadership attitudes that could significantly impact the organization's reputation and future operations. Before addressing media questions, Collier presented a prepared declaration clarifying that her concerns extended beyond competitive outcomes. She opened by congratulating the Phoenix Mercury on their finals advancement while emphasizing that her message addressed matters of greater significance than individual game results. According to Collier, the most substantial danger threatening professional women's basketball isn't financial constraints, television ratings, questionable referee decisions, or aggressive gameplay.
And in that same conversation, she told me, players should be on their knees thanking their lucky stars for the media rights deal that I got them. That's a mentality driving our league from the top. I have the privilege of watching my husband run a league where he has to balance 100 different things at once. I won't pretend the job is easy, but even with all of that on his plate, he always takes the time to reach out to players when he sees an injury, whether it's Unrivaled or even during the WNBA season. That is what leadership looks like. It's the human element. It's basic integrity, and it's the bare minimum
She identified the core problem as inadequate accountability from administrative headquarters. Throughout her career in the organization, players have continuously expressed worries about officiating quality, which has deteriorated to inconsistency levels that harm the competition's credibility and operational integrity. Collier questioned whether organizational leadership genuinely prioritizes athlete well-being, suggesting that apparent indifference toward competitive quality represents damaging self-destructive behavior. Despite annual changes in various aspects, the one constant element remains the persistent absence of responsibility from those in command positions. After apologizing for being winded from walking in her medical boot, Collier addressed how the organization employs sustainability as their standard explanation for inadequate player compensation during collective bargaining discussions.
Human element. It's basic integrity, and it's the bare minimum any leader should embody. This year alone, I've gotten calls, texts, and well wishes from so many players across the league. Those moments remind me that sometimes there are things bigger than the results than this game we play. But do you know who I haven't heard from? Cathy. Not one call, not one text. Instead, the only outreach has come from her number 2 telling my agent that she doesn't believe physical play is contributing to injuries. That is infuriating, and it's the perfect example of the tone-deaf, dismissive approach that our leaders always.
However, she argued that true unsustainability lies in attempting to maintain quality competition while permitting officials to consistently lose game control. Spectators witness these problems nightly, and coaches from victorious and defeated teams regularly highlight these concerns during pre-game and post-game media sessions. Yet administrative response consists merely of issuing monetary penalties while ignoring the fundamental issues that everyone within the sport desperately wants resolved. Collier labeled this approach as negligent behavior. Recounting a February conversation at the Unrivaled basketball event, Collier described sitting opposite Commissioner Engelbert and inquiring about strategies for addressing officiating difficulties.
Infuriating, and it's the perfect example of the tone-deaf, dismissive approach that our leaders always seem to take. I've finally grown tired. For too long, I have tried to have these conversations in private, but it's clear there is no intention of accepting there's a problem. The league has made it clear it isn't about innovation, it isn't about collaboration, it's about control and power. I've earned this platform and I've paid the price to get here, and now I have a responsibility to speak on behalf of the fans and everyone in this league that deserves better. Our leadership's answer to being held accountable is to
The commissioner's alleged response dismissed these concerns, stating that only losing teams complain about referees. When Collier questioned compensation inadequacies for revenue-generating players like Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and Paige Bueckers during their initial contract periods, Engelbert purportedly responded that Clark should feel fortunate earning $16 million through external endorsements, claiming that without the platform provided by the professional organization, such earnings would be impossible. During that identical discussion, the commissioner allegedly instructed players they should be extremely grateful, specifically stating they should be on their knees thanking their lucky stars for the media rights agreement she negotiated. Collier characterized this attitude as emblematic of the mindset directing the organization from its highest administrative level. Drawing comparisons to her husband's experience managing another basketball organization, Collier acknowledged the complexity of executive leadership while highlighting that exceptional leaders maintain personal connections with athletes.
Our leadership's answer to being held accountable is to suppress everyone's voices by handing out fines. I'm not concerned about a fine. I'm concerned about the future of our sport. At some point, everyone deserves to hear the truth from someone who I hope has earned the benefit of the doubt to fight for what is right and fair for our athletes and our fans. We have the best players in the world. We have the best fans in the world. But right now, we have the worst leadership in the world. If I didn't know exactly what the job entailed, maybe I wouldn't feel this way. But unfortunately for them, I do. We serve a league that has shown.
Her husband consistently contacts players following injuries, whether occurring during unrivaled competitions or regular season games. This approach, according to Collier, exemplifies authentic leadership, fundamental human decency, and the minimum standard any administrator should demonstrate. Throughout the current season, she received numerous calls, messages, and supportive communications from fellow athletes across the organization, moments that reminded her certain matters transcend competitive results. Notably absent from this support, however, was any communication from Commissioner Engelbert. The sole contact came from a deputy administrator who informed Collier's representative that physical gameplay doesn't contribute to injuries.